Have you ever stopped to wonder why two people can be the exact same age, yet one is hiking mountains, thinking clearly, and living independently, while the other is struggling with multiple chronic diseases, taking a handful of medications every day, and losing their independence? Here's something even more surprising. What if aging itself isn't the biggest problem? What if the real challenge is that we've spent decades treating the diseases of aging one by one, instead of understanding the biology that makes those diseases happen in the first place? That's exactly why scientists, physicians, and longevity researchers have begun speaking before policymakers, including during U.S. Senate discussions on aging research. Their message is remarkably simple. If we can keep the body biologically healthier for longer, we may be able to delay many chronic diseases at the same time, not just one disease in isolation. Here's what's really going on inside your body. As we age, tiny changes begin accumulating inside our cells. Our mitochondria become less efficient at producing energy. Chronic low-grade inflammation slowly rises, damaged proteins accumulate, stem cells lose their regenerative capacity. Hormonal signaling changes, our muscles become less responsive to exercise and protein. Even our immune system becomes less effective at protecting us while becoming more likely to attack healthy tissue. These changes don't suddenly appear when someone turns 70. They often begin decades earlier, quietly progressing while we still feel perfectly healthy. The encouraging news is that biology is far more adaptable than most people realize. Modern research shows that many of the processes driving biological aging respond to lifestyle choices. Exercise, nutrition, sleep, stress management, muscle maintenance, metabolic health, and even the timing of when we eat all influence the same biological pathways scientists are studying in longevity research. In today's video, we're going to separate hype from evidence. We'll explore what leading aging researchers are actually saying, what the latest science reveals about extending health span, not merely lifespan, and, most importantly, the practical habits you can begin using today to help your body stay healthier, stronger, and more resilient as the years pass. And if you're interested in understanding the science of living longer while staying healthier, consider subscribing. Every week, we break down complex research into practical strategies you can actually use in everyday life. For decades, modern medicine has been incredibly successful at treating diseases one at a time. We developed better drugs for heart disease, new therapies for cancer, medications for diabetes, and treatments that help people live longer with chronic conditions. These advances have saved millions of lives. But here's what's really going on inside your body. As we get older, the risk of developing nearly every major chronic disease begins to rise, not because these diseases are completely unrelated, but because they often share the same underlying biological processes. Researchers refer to these as the hallmarks or core mechanisms of aging. They include chronic inflammation, mitochondrial dysfunction, DNA damage, impaired cellular repair, and the gradual accumulation of senescent or zombie cells that no longer function properly but continue releasing inflammatory signals. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your home is slowly developing problems over the years. The roof starts leaking, the plumbing begins to corrode, the electrical wiring becomes unreliable, and cracks appear in the foundation. You could keep fixing each problem separately, and that's important, but if the entire structure is aging, you'll continue facing new repairs. The same principle applies to the human body. Treating individual diseases matters, but maintaining the health of the underlying biological systems may help delay multiple diseases at once. What the research shows is that many chronic diseases share these common aging pathways. Studies in animals have demonstrated that targeting fundamental aging mechanisms can delay the onset of several age-related conditions simultaneously. While researchers are actively investigating whether similar approaches can safely extend human health span, experts agree that the strongest evidence today supports improving the biological systems we can already influence through lifestyle. That brings us to metabolism. When insulin remains chronically elevated, blood vessels become damaged, excess glucose promotes the formation of harmful advanced glycation end products, and persistent inflammation places stress on nearly every organ. Over time, this accelerates many of the same biological changes associated with aging. The encouraging part is that these processes are not fixed. Regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy body weight, eating a diet rich in minimally processed foods, prioritizing adequate protein, getting consistent sleep, and avoiding smoking all reduce many of these harmful signals. These aren't quick fixes, they're ways of creating an internal environment that supports healthier aging over decades. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. Every week, we break down complex health research into practical, evidence-based strategies that you can apply in your own life. In the next section, we'll explore one of the most important ideas in longevity science, why your biological age may matter far more than the number of candles on your birthday cake. Now let's explore one of the most important shifts happening in longevity science, The difference between chronological age and biological age. Your chronological age is simple. It's the number of years since you were born. Everyone ages chronologically at the same pace 1 year every year. But biologically, the story can be very different. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every cell in your body carries clues about how well it's functioning. Scientists can measure changes in DNA methylation, inflammation, immune function, metabolic health, muscle mass, cardiovascular fitness, and other biomarkers to estimate what's known as your biological age. While no single test perfectly captures it, these measurements help reveal whether your body is aging faster, slower, or about as expected for your years. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of two identical cars built in the same year. One has been serviced regularly, driven carefully, and protected from harsh conditions. The other has missed maintenance, been overloaded, and driven hard every day. Both cars are the same model year, but one is likely to perform much better and last much longer. Your body works in much the same way. Research consistently shows that people with a younger biological age tend to have lower risks of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, physical disability, and premature death. In other words, it's not just how long you've lived, it's how well your body has been maintained over time. So what influences biological aging? One of the biggest factors is metabolic health. Frequent blood sugar spikes, insulin resistance, excess visceral fat, chronic inflammation, poor sleep, smoking, excessive alcohol intake, chronic stress, and physical inactivity all place extra strain on your cells. Over years, that wear and tear can accelerate biological aging. The good news is that the opposite is also true. Regular resistance training helps preserve muscle and insulin sensitivity. Aerobic exercise improves mitochondrial function and cardiovascular health. A diet centered on vegetables, fruits, legumes, healthy fats, quality protein, and high-fiber foods supports metabolic resilience. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep allows your brain and body to repair. Managing stress helps regulate cortisol, reducing one of the body's major drivers of chronic inflammation. What the research shows is that these habits don't simply make you feel better today, they influence the very biological systems that determine how well you age tomorrow. Instead of asking, "How old am I?" a better question might be, "What am I doing today that helps my body stay biologically younger?" In the next section, we'll examine why metabolic health sits at the center of healthy aging and why controlling insulin and inflammation may be one of the most powerful longevity strategies available. If there's one concept that connects nearly every major age-related disease, it's metabolic health. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, kidney disease, dementia, and even several forms of cancer all become more common when metabolism begins to break down. That's why many longevity researchers now view metabolic health as one of the strongest predictors of how well we age. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every time you eat, your body converts food into energy. Glucose enters your bloodstream, and your pancreas releases insulin, a hormone that acts like a key, allowing glucose to move into your cells where it can be used as fuel. The problem isn't insulin itself. Insulin is essential for life. The problem begins when insulin remains elevated day after day because of excess calories, frequent snacking, highly processed foods, physical inactivity, poor sleep, or excess body fat, particularly around the abdomen. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine someone ringing your front doorbell every few seconds all day long. Eventually, you'd stop responding as quickly. Your body's cells behave in a similar way. Constant exposure to insulin causes them to become less responsive. This is insulin resistance. To compensate, the pancreas produces even more insulin. Blood sugar becomes harder to control, fat storage increases, inflammation rises, and organs like the liver, blood vessels, brain, and muscles begin to suffer the consequences. What the research shows is that improving insulin sensitivity is associated with lower risks of multiple chronic diseases and healthier aging. The encouraging part is that insulin sensitivity often improves remarkably well with consistent lifestyle changes. Start with movement. Even a 10 to 15-minute walk after meals helps muscles absorb glucose, reducing the demand for insulin. Add resistance training 2 to 4 times per week to build muscle because muscle is one of your body's largest reservoirs for storing glucose. Next, prioritize whole foods. Build meals around lean protein, colorful vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbohydrates. These foods slow glucose absorption, support the gut microbiome, and help keep blood sugar more stable. Sleep matters just as much. Even one night of poor sleep can temporarily reduce insulin sensitivity and increase hunger hormones, making healthy choices more difficult the next day. Finally, if you're carrying excess visceral fat, focus on gradual, sustainable weight loss. Even losing 5–10% of body weight can significantly improve insulin sensitivity, lower inflammation, and reduce the risk of chronic disease. If this is helping you better understand the science behind healthy aging, consider subscribing. Every week, we translate the latest research into practical strategies that help you build a stronger metabolism, improve your health span, and take control of your future. In the next section, we'll explore why many scientists now call skeletal muscle the organ of longevity, and why preserving it may be one of the most effective investments you can make for healthy aging. When most people think about muscle, they think about strength, athletic performance, or appearance. But longevity researchers see muscle very differently. They see it as one of the most powerful organs for healthy aging. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your skeletal muscles are far more than engines that move your arms and legs. They function as a metabolic powerhouse, helping regulate blood sugar, support immune health, protect your bones, and even communicate with your brain through signaling molecules called myokines. These compounds are released during exercise and influence inflammation, metabolism, and brain function throughout the body. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscles as your body's largest rechargeable battery. The larger and healthier that battery is, the more energy it can store and deliver when you need it. But if the battery gradually shrinks over time, your body becomes less resilient. Everyday tasks require more effort, blood sugar becomes harder to regulate, and recovering from illness or injury becomes more difficult. This gradual loss of muscle, known as sarcopenia, often begins as early as our 30s if we don't actively work to maintain it. The process accelerates after age 60, contributing to frailty, falls, loss of independence, and a higher risk of hospitalization. What the research shows is that muscle strength is one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging and longevity. In many studies, people with greater muscular strength and better cardiorespiratory fitness consistently have lower risks of chronic disease and premature death, even after accounting for body weight. The encouraging news is that muscle responds to training at almost any age. Whether you're 35, 55, or even 75, resistance exercise stimulates your muscles to grow stronger and more efficient. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. 2 to 3 full-body strength training sessions each week can make a meaningful difference. Nutrition matters just as much. Aim to include a high-quality source of protein at each meal, such as fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, poultry, tofu, legumes, or lean meat, to provide the amino acids your muscles need for repair and growth. Many older adults also benefit from distributing protein evenly across the day, rather than consuming most of it at dinner, and don't overlook recovery. Quality sleep, adequate hydration, and regular movement between workouts all help your muscles adapt and rebuild. The takeaway is simple. Muscle is not just about looking fit, it's about staying independent, metabolically healthy, and resilient for decades to come. In the next section, we'll bring everything together by exploring how daily lifestyle habits, from nutrition and exercise to sleep and stress management, work together to influence the very biology of aging, and why these small, consistent choices often outperform any single anti-aging intervention. By now, you've probably noticed a pattern. There isn't one magic nutrient, one miracle supplement, or one breakthrough drug that solves aging. Instead, the strongest evidence points to something both simpler and more profound. The small choices you make every day shape the biology of aging over decades. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every meal, every workout, every night of sleep, and every period of stress sends signals to your cells. These signals influence inflammation, insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial function, hormone balance, immune activity, and even the way your genes are expressed. Scientists often refer to this as creating an internal environment that either supports resilience or accelerates decline. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body is like a savings account. Every healthy habit is a small deposit. Every night of quality sleep adds to the balance. Every strength training session is another deposit. Every nutritious meal, every walk after dinner, and every hour spent managing stress compounds over time. On the other hand, chronic sleep deprivation, smoking, physical inactivity, excess alcohol, and years of overeating are like repeated withdrawals. You may not notice the difference after a single day, but after 10, 20, or 30 years, the balance looks completely different. What the research shows is that the combination of healthy lifestyle habits has a far greater impact than any single intervention alone. People who maintain regular physical activity, eat a diet rich in minimally processed foods, avoid smoking, sleep 7 to 9 hours per night, maintain a healthy body weight, and manage stress consistently experience lower rates of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, and premature mortality. So what does this look like in real life? Start your day with a protein-rich breakfast if it helps control hunger and stabilize blood sugar. Fill at least half of your plate with vegetables at lunch and dinner. Include healthy fats from foods like olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. Move your body every day, even if it's just a brisk 30-minute walk. Strength train at least twice a week. Get outside for natural daylight in the morning to support your circadian rhythm. Limit ultra-processed foods, sugary drinks, and late-night eating whenever possible. These habits aren't about perfection, they're about consistency. If this video has helped you rethink what healthy aging really means, consider subscribing. Every week, we explore the latest science and turn it into practical strategies that you can use to improve your metabolism, protect your brain, and extend your health span naturally. In the next section, we'll look toward the future of longevity science, what researchers are developing, what shows promise, what remains unproven, and why prevention will continue to be the foundation of healthy aging even as medical innovation advances. As exciting as today's research is, it's important to separate scientific promise from scientific proof. You may have seen headlines claiming that scientists are on the verge of curing aging. While these stories generate attention, the reality is more nuanced and in many ways even more encouraging. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Researchers are studying therapies that target the biological mechanisms of aging itself. These include approaches to reduce the burden of senescent or zombie cells, improve mitochondrial function, enhance cellular recycling through autophagy, support DNA repair, and optimize nutrient-sensing pathways such as mTOR, AMPK, and sirtuins. These systems help your cells decide whether to focus on growth, repair, or conservation depending on the body's needs. What the research shows is that many of these strategies have produced remarkable results in laboratory models. In mice and other animals, certain interventions have delayed age-related diseases and improved aspects of health span. However, translating these findings into safe and effective treatments for humans takes time. Human biology is more complex, and therapies that work in animals don't always produce the same outcomes in people. That's why leading scientists emphasize a balanced message. Continue advancing medical research while recognizing that the strongest evidence available today still supports prevention. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body is a house. Future medical therapies may become highly skilled renovation crews capable of repairing damaged rooms. But even the best renovation can't fully compensate for decades of neglect. Routine maintenance, cleaning, protecting, and repairing small problems before they grow is still the smartest strategy. The same principle applies to healthy aging. If future longevity medicines become available and are proven safe, they'll likely work best in people who have already built a solid foundation through healthy living. Medicine and lifestyle aren't competitors, they're partners. So, what can you do starting today? Think of your daily habits as investments in your future biology. Stay physically active. Prioritize strength training and cardiovascular fitness. Eat a nutrient-dense, minimally processed diet. Maintain a healthy body weight. Protect your sleep. Manage chronic stress. Avoid smoking and limit excessive alcohol. Keep your mind engaged, nurture meaningful relationships, and continue learning throughout life. These may not sound revolutionary, but together, they influence many of the same biological pathways that scientists are investigating in cutting-edge longevity research. The future of healthy aging won't be built on one miracle discovery. It will come from combining the best of modern medicine with the timeless principles of prevention, allowing more people to live longer lives that are not only measured in years, but in vitality, independence, and purpose. Let's bring everything together. When most people hear the word aging, they think it's something that simply happens to us, an unavoidable countdown that begins the day we're born. But the science tells a far more hopeful story. Yes, we can't stop the passage of time, but we can influence how our bodies respond to that time. Throughout this video, we've explored a powerful shift in thinking that is reshaping medicine. Instead of waiting for chronic diseases to appear and treating them one at a time, researchers are asking a better question. How can we preserve the biology of healthy aging so that many diseases are delayed before they ever begin? Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every healthy meal you eat helps regulate insulin and reduce unnecessary inflammation. Every strength training session sends a signal to preserve muscle, improve metabolism, and support healthy bones. Every night of quality sleep gives your brain and immune system time to repair. Every walk, every stress management practice, and every decision to avoid smoking or excessive alcohol is another investment in your future health. These habits may seem small on their own, but together they shape the environment in which your cells live every single day. Remember the 6 key ideas we covered. Aging is the greatest risk factor for most chronic diseases. Biological age often matters more than chronological age. Metabolic health is one of the strongest drivers of healthy aging. Muscle is one of your body's greatest longevity assets. Daily lifestyle choices influence the biology of aging in measurable ways. The future of longevity will likely combine scientific innovation with the timeless foundations of prevention. The encouraging part is that you don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start with one meaningful change. Take a 15-minute walk after dinner, replace one ultra-processed meal with a whole food alternative, add 2 strength training sessions to your week, prioritize an extra hour of sleep, schedule time to prepare healthy meals, choose one habit you can realistically sustain, and let consistency, not perfection, do the heavy lifting. Your body is constantly adapting to the signals you give it. The choices you make today become the biology you live with tomorrow. Healthy aging isn't about chasing immortality. It's about protecting your energy, your independence, your mind, and your ability to enjoy life with the people you love for as many years as possible. If this video helped you better understand the science of longevity and healthy aging, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Every week, we break down the latest research into practical, evidence-based strategies to help you optimize your metabolism, improve your health span, and live a longer, healthier life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy, stay curious, and keep investing in the future version of yourself.